Hi everyone and welcome to episode 17 of the Spring Snowflake Podcast. My name is Sophie and I am coming to you from, well, I don't know what the weather's like because it's like 9:15 at night. It was raining torrentially today, but anyway, I'm coming to you from South Oxfordshire in the United Kingdom, and I haven't done this in a while. This episode's going to be called I Blame GeordieKnits, and I'll explain why later. So, podcast admin. There's quite a lot today. So, first things first, you can find me on Instagram as Sophie Swan, and also as a Spring Snowflake, which is the channel for, or the profile for this podcast. So I tend to only post on there when I've got videos up or there's something that I've been doing or talking about quite a lot on the podcast and I want to share it with you. But Sophie Swan is my personal account. I mostly post about my crafty stuff, but I do also post some personal stuff there as well. Not so much at the moment though, and we might come on to that later. My show notes are on my computer, which is right there. So I will be looking that way every so often to check what the hell I'm saying, because I'm prepared this time, but I also haven't done this since the 23rd of May. Actually before that. Yeah, because it was published on the 23rd of May. I filmed it probably 5 days before that. Anyway, there is a Ravelry group, thank you, for this podcast, which I will link to in my show notes. All the links will be down there in the description. Well, the links that you need are in the description box, and all the kind of things that I talk about will be in my show notes, which is on my blog. Again, there'll be a link in the description box. So there is a Ravelry group. It is relatively brand new. Yeah, it's relatively new. So there's an intro thread on there. Please do go and come and say hi. And then what I'll do is I'll be posting a new thread for each episode of the podcast. And then if there's any like alongs, competitions, giveaways, all that kind of stuff. So I did have a woolen giveaway, which was won by the lovely Melanie. If you watch my July vlogs, of which there were only like 13 videos, 14 days. Yeah, there were, I am pulled the winners then. That's the word, that's the phrase I was looking for. Anyway, so there is a Ravelry podcast group. There are a couple of new things. Well, one not quite so new and one very new. So there is, if you wanted to support the podcast, there are two ways of doing that. There's one is to buy me a coffee or a Ko-fi, Ko-fi, which is basically like taking me to Starbucks. Not Starbucks, Costa. Costa is my place of choice. They do better hot chocolate. The equivalent of a virtual taking me to Costa and buying me a drink, which is fab. If you wanted to do as a one-off. If you wanted to support the podcast regularly, I have just opened a Patreon account. Everyone's doing it, and this is my first reason why I blame GeordieKnits, because Katie's just done it as well. So the reason why I've opened a podcast Patreon is for two reasons. One, I want to make this podcast self-sufficient. At the moment, if I post out prizes, all the equipment that I use, my time comes out of my budget, whether it's my time budget or my money budget. And I'd like to be able to do more, and in order to do more, I need to be able to afford it. So there's that. And also I am about to start releasing patterns. I've got a lot of ideas in my brain, and I am currently doing I think it's a 5-day challenge by Frenchie of Aroha Knits. Always get that wrong. Who is doing something called Initiate Knit Design. It's a free course, but it's already up and running, so you can't join it belatedly. But it's all about kind of having a think about how you create a design from kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Inspiration. So we've done day one. I'm about to do day two after I finish filming this podcast. So day one was all about looking at mood boards and what kind of thoughts and words and memories and all that kind of stuff it evokes. and I don't know what day 2 is because I haven't read the email yet. But yeah, it's really interesting, and I'm hoping that it'll help me to basically get my arse in gear and start writing down the patterns that are in my head. So the Patreon page, let me just change. So the Patreon page at the moment has 3 tiers. There's the, I'm looking over there because it's there, fabulous, awesome and amazing tiers. Fabulous is what is $1 because it's an American company, $1 or more a month. Awesome is $3 or more, and then amazing is $5 or more, and you get different access. So for $1 a month you get early access to these podcasts, and I am hoping to stick to a schedule of at least 1 a month, if not more. At the moment it's fun because Amelia, my little girl, is on school holidays, hence the reason why I am filming at night. But studio lights. So yeah, so that is, you get 48 hours early access to my podcasts and vlogs that aren't time-based. So when I say that, I mean not Vlogmas, basically, but any kind of vlogs from yarn shows, anything that we do out and about, that goes on YouTube publicly, you'll get 48 hour access to it earlier. Awesome gives you that. It also gives you enters you into a quarterly giveaway, and I've got a few things lined up for that. So that's a quarterly giveaway, and then the amazing one, which is $5, gives you exclusive vlog content. So I will make at least 1 a month, if not more, vlogs that are specifically for my Patreon subscribers. So that could be anything from kind of out and about with me and Amelia, to me trying out a new skill, to little interviews with crafty friends of mine, to all sorts of stuff. Okay, so that's my Patreon. I'm going to stop talking about that now. If you want to support me, then please do go to the link that's in the down bar and also on my show notes. Right, I'm really warm. I might take this off. It is really... Weather report. The UK is going through a Mother Nature is drunk weather spell at the moment. She's not happy. She's either drunk or she's pretty pissed off with Brexit. That's one of the two. Probably both. Yeah, we've had really warm weather. It got up to 38, I think, in London. Ridiculous. 38, I think, is over 100 degrees Fahrenheit for my American or old money friends. I didn't realise that in the UK we used to just be Fahrenheit, because Ali from Little Drops of Wonderful, she thinks in Fahrenheit, and I'm like, I've never thought in Fahrenheit, I've always thought in Celsius. But anyway, 38-ish. Got to about 35 here in Oxfordshire. And it was blazing sunny for like 2 days. And then it torrential rained for like 4 days, but it was still as warm. So it was like, it was close and horrible. And it's been kind of not as warm the last couple of days, but still sunny. And then today the heavens opened and it's just been, so I'm quite sweaty. Anyway, I'll show you what I'm wearing and then I can take it off. And excuse the vest top. So this is my Sunday shawl, which is a pattern by Alia Bland, who is also known as the Little BNZ. I made it in King Cole Bamboo Cotton, DK, and I love it. It's a really nice evening summer shawl when you're not under studio lights. I'm going to put it away now because I'm too warm. You're just going to have to deal with the vest top, sorry guys. So that is, with my Patreon, one more thing, I will be adding more levels to it once I start pattern designing, because then I'll be offering discounts and free patterns to my patrons with codes and stuff. So them's the details. Right, shall we move into the crafting? I actually I was thinking I might try and knit while podcasting, because I'm trying to practice knitting without looking, but I am chickening out. So I'll just show you this one to start with. So I'm gonna do whips first, and then I'll do finished objects, or I might just do them all in one. I'm just gonna flit about because I haven't done this in a while, and let's mix it Does everyone like my new hair? If you didn't see my woolling vlog or my July vlogs, I cut all my hair off for charity. No, I cut it off because I wanted to, and then the added bonus was that I was able to give the hair to charity. So I think I sent about 11-12 inches off to the Little Princess Trust. If you, or I'll pop a link either in the description box. No, I'll put it in the description box. Little Princess Trust are a UK based charity who use human hair, real hair, and they rely on donations to create human hair wigs for kids with cancer. It's fab. It's really good, and a lot of hairdressers know about them. So my hairdresser, like, she knew, she was like, she knew exactly what she was having to do, and yeah, it was really good. So yes, I've cut my hair. I've just had it trimmed over the weekend, and the roots have been done, so I look all fresh and lovely for you. Apart from the fact that I'm like slightly, what's the word that my instructor, my Zumba bar instructor says? Glowing. I'm glowing, and first stop. Anyway, so let's do with what I'm working on right now. This is a sock head slouch hat. The yarn is by Black Horse Yarn, which is the yarn dyeing company that is from my friend Beck, who is Yarn Adventurous on Instagram. She's also Black Horse Yarn on Instagram, but I don't think she's posted recently. She's not really dyeing very much at the moment, as far as I'm aware, but this is her suffrage colourway. Self-explanatory, because it's the colours of the suffrage movement in the UK. And I bought this at Yarndale last year. Segue, Yarndale. You guys know, and if you don't know, then yeah, I've been pretty vocal about the whole learning a lot about inclusivity and diversity in the yarn community since January. You've kind of had to have lived under a rock or not to be on Instagram, which actually is quite a small rock in the grand scheme of things. Anyway, to have not heard about it and to have not been privy to the conversations that have been happening. It seems that Yarndale have, because their responses have been less than good, and they don't want to. They're very happy to put a post out on Instagram and then not respond to any of the comments, and then just put out another post that might be slightly more passive aggressive a few days later saying #BeKind. Which is very disappointing because I love Yarndale. It is my favourite festival in the UK. And I'm really disappointed about how they're dealing with the lack of diversity in their workshop teachers, the lack of diversity in their vendors. As far as I can tell, they've just asked for applications for a few empty slots. Some vendors have had to pull out, including Eden Cottage Yarns, which is really sad. But so they might have a few more, but when their first incarnation of their exhibitor list came out, they had one member of the yarn community that is a person of colour. Now I think in the UK, now we say BAME more than BIPOC, so British, oh god, here we go, Black, Asian and minority ethnic is what we tend to use in the UK, because BIPOC, which is kind of the worldwide version of it, is Black and Indigenous person of colour. Person of colour definitely applies in the UK, but Indigenous doesn't quite sit with our demographic, whereas in places like America or Australia it does. So we use BAME, BAME. I like saying BAME better, but yeah, so we have one BAME person, and then we have one minority religious person. That's Dusty Dimples. So she is a white woman, but she is part of the Muslim faith, therefore makes her a minority religion. And her husband is BAME. So that makes technically her business, because it's a family run business, a BAME business. So that means 2 out of 200 vendors, that's 1%. And the BAME ethnic kind of diversity stats in the UK is not 1%. Far from it. So yeah, I'm not particularly impressed. And I'm not particularly impressed with how they've handled the questions that have come from that exhibitor list being published, basically. Meh. I'm still going to go. I'm going to be jet lagged as hell, more on that later. But yeah, it's disappointing, really. There are other yarn shows that have done incredibly well at looking at how they increase diversity and increase inclusion and equity, not equality, equity, in terms of their yarn festivals, and Yarndale's not one of them. It's kind of leaving a bit of a bad taste in the mouth, really. Yeah. Oh well. Right. Massive segue, let's go back. Let's talk about finished objects. I have 5 finished objects to show you, but the only one to actually show you is this. So this is, now I need to find the back. I'm going to put it on. This is my, let's sort the hair out before I put the hat on, shall we? There we go. There we go. This is the tincture hat. Now the tincture hat is a pattern by Andrea Mowry, and I'm going to take it off my head so that you can see it properly. It is a slip stitch mosaic pattern, and this had already been released, but she released the shift along hat and then decided that she was going to challenge everyone to do a shift along cal over a weekend. So basically 3 of her mosaic colour work patterns she put on a discount, I think like 20% discount, and challenged everyone to make a hat in a weekend. And I did. I was quite proud of myself, really. So it's a DK hat. This is the tincture hat. I think the other ones were the shift along and the, I can't remember the other one. I'll put it down there. And I made it out of the scraps from my Truly Hooked Blanket Club this year so far. So these were the first month's colour, which were mostly pinks and purples, as you can see. And then some of the, oh, there's my hair in here. And some of the white DK from Truly Hooked as well. So it's all the same yarn, but some of it's the undyed, and I love it. I think what I'm going to do is kind of make a magic ball out of all my leftovers from that blanket, which is on hiatus at the moment, and just keep making these as I get enough of the contrast colour. I think it'd be quite cool. If I can find some black or some grey, I might try it and change it up a little bit. The other finished objects I don't have because this is what I do. And I also haven't podcasted since May. Although this was finished in May, but it's mine, so I've got fluff everywhere. Blech. So I have 2 projects that go together, which is the Magic Dragon and the Call the Midwife blanket. So I'll post pictures either side. These were made out of the same yarn, which is Shepye's Soft Fun Aquarelle, for a friend of mine who's just had a baby. So my lovely friend Holly, who I've known for years, has just had a little baby, and I decided that I was going to make another Call the Midwife blanket. I've made one before for Amelia, which went to nursery with her, and she used to take her naps there, have her naps under it when she was at nursery. So I made another one. It's a really quick crochet, and then I decided that because I had ordered a few more balls than probably necessary from Wool Warehouse, they are the only online shop I buy from, because technically, well, no, they are a family run business, so even though they're an online store, I feel like I'm still kind of supporting a small business with them. So so Wool Warehouse I got that yarn from, and I had more than I probably needed, so I decided to make the Magic Dragon shawl, which is a Tunisian pattern. It's lovely. It's like an increasing kind of dragon scale, with some very simple lace, and it just, as it grew, it's really long but quite a shallow increasing shawl, and I love it. It was a lot of fun to make. So those came off my hooks pretty quickly. And then the other things, another baby make, I finished another sea monkey baby hat, this time out of Shepier's, oh here we go, Stone Washed XL, in the like cream colourway, I can't remember what it's called, Moonstone? Yeah, Moonstone, which is what I'm making my Sophie's Universe yarn, blanket out of. I'm not going to show you that this time. And that's a quick knit. Basically it's just a tube. I do the rolled brim, so you literally just knit a tube of stockinette until it's at the size that you need it to, do kitchener stitch across the top, and then use 2 strands of yarn to tie off the little sea monkey ears. It's quite cute really. So that went to a friend of mine who also has just had a baby, who is she's called Rachel, and she used to be my barn owl. So when I started it as a brownie leader, I was at another unit, so not before I opened my own unit. I was at another unit who didn't have a brown owl, they had a barn owl, and Rachel's just had a little girl, so she got that hat. And then the last finished object, I will put a picture up here, is, actually I'll put a couple of pictures up because I've got different angles and stuff, is a sample shawl I made for Tara of Irish Artisan Yarns. If you haven't come across them, please go and have a look. Her colourways are inspired by places in Northern Ireland, so that's where her parents are from, live, can't remember. They live there, they definitely live there, I don't know whether they're from there. But yeah, so that it's inspired by different areas of Northern Ireland, and she is vending at Yarndale, and she felt like, she knew she needed some more crochet samples to show off her yarn, particularly as Yarndale kind of caters to crochet a lot more than other yarn festivals do. So we decided at Woolin, where I met her, that I was going to take three skeins of DK off her, and I crocheted up the Loft shawl, which is by a pattern by the lovely Faye Ashby Hughes, also known as the Crochet Circle podcast. So she's got 4 versions of that pattern, because she's a glutton for punishment: 2 knit, 2 crochet, 2 in DK, 2 in fingering. That pattern was inspired by, I think it was EYF 2018, the Airbnb that she was staying in had loads of stairs, so it's inspired. It's kind of a graduated striped shawl. It's so beautiful and it's so quick to make. So I was aiming to have that to Tara before Yarndale, but actually I got it to her before Yarn Folk, which was last weekend in Northern Ireland. So instead of sending it to her, I sent it to her parents, which is very cool. Right, that's all my finished objects. Works in progress. The first thing I'm going to tell you is that most of these I am aiming to have finished before August the 24th, which is the end of Stash Dash. So Stash Dash is an long, hosted by the Knit Girls with 3 L's, yes, who are Leslie and Laura. They are, if you don't watch them, you should. They're brilliant. They are very No Airs and Graces podcast. They've been doing this for years. I think they were one of the first video knitting podcasts on YouTube, and they're brilliant, and I've learned a lot from Leslie and Laura when it comes to my knitting. So yes, they're awesome. You should totally go and watch them if you don't. They host a annual, it's a race with yourself, called Stash Dash, where you try and clear the whips, get rid of some of your stash, literally just make. And they have different finish lines for how many meters you make. Okay, so because I'm a geek, I'm gonna get my iPad now. I am keeping a spreadsheet of mine because, yes, I'm a geek. So my Stash Dash total, so it's basically everything you finish, doesn't matter if you have started it before. So I think it starts on May the 24th and it ends on August the 24th. So everything you finish after May 24th but before August 24th is counted into your stash dash total. So for me, that was the tincture hat. There was a mandala that I made that I haven't shown you, called the Love Yourself mandala, which is a pattern by Louisa from the Fibre Lounge. It's awesome. I'll try and remember to link it. If not, it's in my project page. Fanula, which was my woolen shawl. You can see that in my woolen blog. Magic Dragon midwife blanket. Sea Monkey baby hat, loft shawl. So far my stash dash total is 2,424 metres. I am aiming, I'd like to get to 7,000. I don't think I will, so I think I'm aiming for the 5,000 finish line. Yeah, so with the 5 things that I'm going to show you, I'm hoping I'll finish them by August 24th. Now today is August the 6th. And I'm so close to finishing a few of these things. One I really had hoped to show you as a finished object today, but oh well. So there's Stash Dash. I'm also participating in the End of the Whip finish along, yeah, that is run by Hannah of the Cozy Cottage Crochet. She intends that you say the end of the whip, or rather you sing the end of the whip along to REM's It's the End of the World. I won't. But yeah, so that's her aim. So that was supposed to finish at the end of July, but she has extended it to the 15th of August. So I'm hoping I can get at least one of these into that. And then the other one is the Whip Crack Away Cal, which is hosted by the lovely Katie of GeordieKnits, and she's the reason why I have a lot of whips right now. So her rules for Whip Crack Away are that you must have cast on, started, hooked on, whatever it is the term to start projects by the 1st of July. So anything that was a whip, a work in progress, by the 1st of July counts in this cal. There are points assigned to each finished object, and we've got until the end of the year to finish our whips. So it's Whip Crack Away is a play on Doris Day, Calamity Jane, and yes. So because I'm a competitive person and I like that points mean prizes, I decided to look at my huge queue, see what yarn I had available, and cast on all the things. Because I'm a competitive, literally I think that's the only reason. I'm a competitive person and I like to have points. That's why I like doing Stash Dash. Imaginary prizes in my head for getting to a certain number. Arbitrary goals. Yeah, so I now have, shall we work this out? I think I had at the start of Whip Crack Away, I think I had 22 works in progress. Now, long-term viewers, people who have been watching this since episode 1 will know that one of my goals when I started this podcast was to bring down the number of whips I had. And before the 1st of July, I think I only had 5. I blame GeordieKnits. Anyway, right. So, you've seen one whip, and that's the suffrage sockhead hat. I'm going to show you the one that is so close. It's so close. It is, oh, actually. So, I forgot to show you the project bag. So this is living in my Hide and Hammer little one skein project bag that came with my, it was like a collaboration between River-Knits, Hide and Hammer and Faye DH Designs for a sock bag, yarn and pattern at Christmas. So it's kind of the first generation. She does sell these, but they're slightly bigger now. I actually have one that I can show you if you want, but later. I have another Hide and Hammer bag. This is going to be a theme. So this is one of her rolled up bags. This is the one with the neon stitching that I think she only had available for woolen, and then her update after it. It's in the dark leather with the pop stud closure, and I bloody love this thing because it's holding a DK cardigan with room to spare. So this is the sweater that lived, no, the cardigan that lived, and I've steeked it. Last night I cut my knitting I will try and insert a clip, which is very dark and rudimentary because it's on my phone and filmed at like 9:15 at night yesterday. By my husband. But yes, I will show you the back because then you can see the actual pattern. Oh, look at that. So this is a pattern by, it's called The Cardigan That Lived, and it is by Verity of Truly Hooked, also known as Verity Castledine Designs. It is the cardigan that lived for obvious reasons. Oh, look at the glare. This yarn is GeordieKnits BFLDK. In the blue is the Sommerliche Nachthimmel, and the mustardy, the dirty yellow I call it, is Enterdank, I think, which is Harvest. I'm quite happy with my floats. They look so good on camera. Especially the glasses, I love the glasses. So yes, I am literally at the end. I've done one of my button bands, and I have picked up and I am knitting the second of, this is going to be the buttonhole band. So it got to about 1/4 to midnight last night, and I had just picked up for these, and I just went, 1/4 to midnight is not the time to be deciding on buttonhole placement, and I don't actually have any buttons yet. I might. I went to John Lewis today. We went into Oxford today, and I went to John Lewis and their haberdashery department, which isn't very good, to be honest, and couldn't find any buttons there. We then went to Hobbycraft and couldn't find any buttons there. There's ends galore with this thing because I'm going to put it down because it's warm. I don't want to I don't want to sew in any ends until it's been blocked, just in case I need to do any like finagling. But yeah, it's so close to being done. It's so close to being done. I want it done before the weekend, basically. I want it done before the weekend. Even if it hasn't got buttons, because buttons mean it's finished, but having blocked it and finished the knitting means it's finished. Yes? Which means I can count the meterage. I know how much blue I've used, it's just the yellow. I'm calling this my Raven Puff cardigan that lived. I have just ordered, oh my god, I've just ordered some ribbon to cover the steeks, because it's my first steek, so I just want to cover it in a ribbon and make it look pretty that way rather than kind of trying to, yeah. So I've just ordered some Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff ribbon, 2 separate ribbons, so I'm going to put one side is going to be Ravenclaw and one side is going to be Hufflepuff. So yeah, the blue is the Ravenclaw and the yellow is the Hufflepuff. I've also just ordered as well, to go with it, some yarn, some ribbon that says I solemnly swear that I'm up to no good and mischief managed, and I'm going to put one around the neckband and one around the bottom rib. Yeah, I'm quite excited about it. I just need to find buttons. I have buttons up there, but I don't think any of them will work. Yeah, I'm not sure where to go. There is a haberdashery in Abingdon, which is one of the market towns just over from me, so I might go to Mason's and see if they've got any. But yeah. Anyway, so that's the cardigan that lived. That is almost done. It's almost done. And that'll be a decent amount of yarn. I'm trying to work out, probably about 1,300 meters. So that'll take me that'll take me very close to my 5,000. So yes, right, next one. We have, I'm just scrolling down, toe-up socks. So these are in my little grey girl pyramid bag. I have got my Gamer Crafting knit, oh look at that, pin. I've also got the new Knitting and Gin Monito pin. So I am part of the Sue Stratford Pin and Knit Club, I think that's what it's called. Oh god, that's bad, isn't it? I'll put it there. So you get a, I think it's going to be alcohol based, pin every month, regularly. And this month, the first one of the club, is a little mojito glass that says Monito. I love it. And in here are some very bright socks. So, I don't know if I've shown these to you before. This colourway is the Refreshers colourway from Boo Polly Boo Yarns. It was a yarn club of hers years ago. 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I cannot remember for the life of me. This started life off as a pattern by the Sockmatician. Everyone knows it. Everyone who's made socks will be aware of his toe-up recipe, and after everything that happened, and I talked about it on my vlogs in July, but after everything that happened with him, and then what happened with Almas at Yarningham, Witchcrafty Lady at Yarningham, I decided that I didn't want to be following his pattern anymore. So I ripped out, I had done the heel on one of the socks and I was working towards the heel on the other, and I ripped it out down to the bottom again, and decided that I don't want these to be in my sock drawer anymore because they'll just remind me of it. So I've done a Fish Lips Kiss heel for the first time, and these will be about they're going to be a 6 or a 7. I think they're probably going to be a size 7, and they're going to go in the sock line, charity sock line that's run by Winnick Mum at Yarndale. So I'm basically just have I done the heel on both? Yes, I've done the heel on both, and so I've split the yarn and I'm just going to work up until they're going to be shorties, I think, or relatively short. So I'm probably going to do another 5 rows and then start the rib. Yeah. I feel good that they'll be going to someone who needs them, but I also feel good that they won't be in my collection, giving me a bad taste in my mouth, basically. Which is a shame because I love this yarn. I got 2 skeins of it. I actually won it, and I made a cardigan for Amelia for when she was little. It doesn't fit her anymore, so I need to work out what I'm going to do with that, whether I'm going to frog that yarn back and use it for something else or just keep it as a I made this. Yeah, but it is fabulous yarn, it's lovely yarn. So that's that. Next one, I have talked about the crochet project mystery crochet alongs. They've done 3 now, and I participated in the most recent one, which is called the Stash of Shells mystery crochet along. It is in another Hide and Hammer bag. The gorgeous new gifted me this, and she also gifted me a very similar one for the podcast. Just saying, Patreon quarterly giveaway. So this is in another Hide and Hammer gorgeous bag, and I love this one because the yarn is just, the leather is just so smushy, and there's like, where's it? There's like dark spots, which I love, just, yeah. Definitely not for the vegan, definitely not for the vegetarian, but what I love about News bags is that she uses leather from makers from the, I have no idea what you call people, Leatherworks? Yeah, Leatherworks. That would have just been thrown away and sent into landfill or been incinerated. So she uses leather that is not useful for pretty much anything else. So yeah, I really love her ethos about how she makes her bags. And she's a mate as well, so that helps. So this, I am so nearly finished. There were 5 clues. I am coming to the end of clue 4. It is I love it. It's a wrap, so it will be a parallelogram. I need to reblock this side because I blocked it as a right angle triangle and I shouldn't have. It should have been like a 75, no, wait a minute. Not a 90-degree angle. 120-degree angle? Yeah. Maths nerd. So yeah, it goes up, starts as a triangle, and then it rectangles off, and there's all sorts of different stitch patterns. So they've got that open mesh shell, you've got a different shell, you've then got the middle bit, which is those bits, which is what they call the trellis, and then you mirror it. So we're mirroring on the other side at the moment. So the yarns in here, this blue is West Green Loft Yarns. This was in my last mystery crochet along by the crochet project. This was the main yarn in the, oh god, what was it called? The last one. Can't remember. It was the one that made me realise that I can't have mohair. And then quite a lot of these yarns are Irish Artisan yarns from a mini pack that I got from Woolin. This is Vicky Brown, Storm Clouds and Rainbows colourway, another Irish Artisan. These two yarns that are in this lighter section, the first kind of 2 rows are dyed by Ali from Little Drops of Wonderful. So she doesn't dye commercially, she just dyes for handing out as gifts and stuff. And I got this tiny little 5 gram mini at Southern Wool Show last year from her. And then the next, this kind of the lighter version that kind of blends in with it is Irish Artisan yarns, more Irish Artisan yarns, more Irish Artisan yarns, more Vicky Brown. The very dark blue is a sparkle by Mothie and the Squid. It's called Night Sky, I think. The blue in the middle is more wiggly. Yes, it's more of the same. And then you basically are mirrored. So it's going to be a fabulous long parallelogram wrap when it's finished. So the only yarn that I haven't shown you that is going to be the triangle at the end is this one. This is a, come on focus, thank you, Bala Jola, which I got given in a swap, which was the I'm Not Going to Edinburgh swap that I participated on Instagram earlier in the year. Right, I'm going to show you yarn now for a test that I'm about to start. So this yarn is all either Shepye Stonewashed, the sport weight version, or it is Yarn and Colours Charming, which is pretty much the same. It's sport weight, and I am testing the 2 smallest sizes for a hat that Sam of Sam Squeak is releasing very, very soon. It's a cable brimmed hat, which is very exciting, and I'm hoping that the 2 hats that I make out of it, so I'm going to do the 0 to 3 and the 3 to 6 month hats, I think that's the sizes I've agreed to, are going to then be given to 2 of my friends who are, one is imminently due, have you packed your bag yet, Amy? And then one is due in September, October. So hopefully those hats will work size wise and head size wise for the small people that they are going to be given to. Right, lastly, temperature blanket. I'm going to give you just an update on my temperature blanket because it shows the ridiculous weather that we've had. Blues, 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 going into greens, a few yellows, that was Easter weekend, a couple of smatterings of blue, going to yellows, 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 pink! This thing is giant now, I'm going to stand up. Look at that. So yeah, we're 8 months into 12 months, so I'm now 2/3 of the way through, really, aren't I? Almost. I still have a couple of days to catch up on, but they're all yellow, so boring. But yeah, I love this pink. So magenta, I skipped red. I haven't even got red in this, so it goes from yellow, or so yellow is 20 to 23, orange is 24 to 27, red is 28 to 31, and pink, magenta, is 32 plus. Yes, 32 plus. Magenta is my highest, my top colour. So yeah, I haven't got any red in this blanket, but I have got magenta because that was the day that was ridiculous. So yes, that's my temperature blanket. The other works in progress that I'm blaming GeordieKnits for, you can find in my project page on Ravelry. I'll put a link to that in my show notes just so you can kind of see the ridiculous that is happening. There's quite a lot of sweaters on there. Once the cardigan that lived is done, I am going to be going back to my Miara sweater, which is a pattern by East London Knits, and it's being knit out of Walcott Opus yarn. So yes. Now, as if the 22 projects wasn't enough, there's also a couple of projects that I'm going to start. So they won't count to Whip Crack Away, but I want to start them because I'm really excited about them. There's 7 of them. I think what I'll do is I'll like start one and then like interchange it with the whips. Yeah, I think that's probably what I'll do. It's ridiculous, isn't it? Or I could just do a Faye and be monogamous. Faye, the Crochet Circle podcast, is basically, out of kind of necessity to be honest, she has one crochet project, one knitting project, and that's it. She's been really good. Her crochet project is the Bloodlines sweater, which she is going to be sending down the Perth Festival of Yarn Runway. Okay, that's that. Right, so the cube patterns that I'm really excited about, I'm just going to kind of do a montage? I don't know. No, I'll just post some pictures up as I talk about them. Number 1, and the one that I'm going to take away as holiday knitting when we go, is the Taha Moana, I think that's how you say it, shawl by GeordieKnits. Oh my god. I'm really bad at saying that name. I want to elongate the O, Aroha, but it's not it's Aroha. Anyway, Taha Moana shawl, post a picture. This is one of Frenchie's relatively newest designs, which is a 3/4 shawl, so it's designed to kind of sit over it's huge, sit over your shoulders and kind of just sit there as a kind of fabulous wrap. And she's done it in a cotton linen base, I think, as a summer shawl. I'm going to be doing it in merino singles, which I had put aside for my Vertices Unite, but I've gone off that shawl, so it's still in my queue. I'll get to it at some point, but I just don't want to make it at the moment. So yes, there's that one. The Lumineux socks, which are by Isolde. These are a relatively old pattern of hers, but she was talking about, I think it was 5 years of Knitworthy, which is her collections that she releases every year, and she was posting on her stories, and I saw these socks and I went, oh, I like them. And then she went, and they're a really nice, it's a really simple afterthought heel, and I went, oh, interesting. So I really want to make the Lumineux socks, which I'll post a picture of now. There is a very new release, which is the Tenet Terra shawl by Lola of Third Volt Yarns. Her and Angie of Gamer Crafting did a collaboration in terms of dyeing some minis, and then they went off and dyed their own full skeins to go with the mini set. And then Lola has created a pattern for it, for a shawl. Now, I saw this shawl in person at Fibre East 2 weekends ago, and it's just gorgeous. The pattern is quite complicated, so it's definitely going to be a slow burner for me, but I really want to make this pattern. She's a real clever. So again, pop photo. Like a Cloud, which is by Joji Locatelli. It is a cardigan, longline cardigan with a pattern design on the sleeve. It's she makes it with one strand of mohair silk and one strand of lace weight yarn, I think just merino yarn, held together. I don't do mohair, we've discovered, so I am having a bit of a de-stash. If anyone, actually all my mohair's gone, but I am having a bit of a de-stash. If you want to go onto my de-stash page, which is at Sophie's De-Stash on Instagram. So I am talking to Tara at Irish Artisan Yarns about her, I think it's her merino alpaca base, and getting enough of that in. It's a 4-ply, so I wouldn't be holding 2 strands double, I'd just be holding 1 strand, but that's got quite a halo apparently, so in kind of payment, and also I'll add more onto it because I'll need more yarn than 3 skeins. I'm going to go and have a look at what she's got at Yarndale, and that will be part payment for doing the sample, and then I'll also buy some extra. So that's quite exciting. Jessie May has just released her diaphanous raglan. I have got, I think, 3 of her patterns on my queue now. So the Ripple Bralette, which I've bought some yarn to make from at Fibre East. Now, what's the other one? Diaphanous raglan, Ripple Bralette. There's another one. I think it might be her Ripple crop top. there's 3 on my queue. But Jessie May is a very size inclusive designer. She puts a lot of work into her patterns in terms of helping people to adjust her patterns to their shape, and the diaphanous raglan is just gorgeous, but it's another one that is made with mohair silk. So I'm going to look at, I got a skein of Dye Candy Cloud, I think it is, which is a Suri alpaca silk base. It doesn't shed as much as mohair, and so far I seem to be alright with it. I bought that to make a hat, so I think that'll be Yarndale purchases for me, is to buy the yarn for that pattern. Then the last 2 are Gatto, which has just been released by Skein-Anigans, Melissa, God, which is it's a simple sweater, but she has used minis to create kind of slices of cake down the body, which just look really cool, and it's a great way of using mini skeins as well. She is a very clever designer. She also designed the Magpie Tendency, which is, you can get a top out of almost 1 skein of 4-ply. Amazing, even in the bigger sizes. I think I've worked out I need like 140 grams for a decent top, which is amazing. She's a very clever bunny, is Melissa from Skein-Anigans. And then lastly, but no means leastly, is the beeswax hat, which is a pattern by, and I'm going to forget, Baroque Pearls, Amy Vandelar. And again, I'll put a photo. And this I've had on my queue for quite a long time, and it will be, I'm going to use the leftover, I'm just going to pull this over, this yarn. It is a DK hat. I'm going to use the leftover of the Hufflepuff yarn, and Dank from River Knits, as the yarn for that hat. Hopefully, I've just broken into my 2nd skein of that yarn to do the, yeah, I broke into it on like the last row of the bottom rib, and then to do the steeking crochet lines, and then the button bands. There we go. So those are the things that the patterns that I'm really excited about at the moment. So I don't know when I'll get to start them. I'm starting the Taha Moana on holiday, because I think it'd be nice. The kind of the main panel, the main colour of it is you have to think about it to start with, but actually then I think it'll be quite nice. Sociable knitting, we're going to go down to my dad's new house in France, so there'll be times my dad's going to be there for half the week, and then he'll go home and we'll have the house to ourselves for half a week. So we're driving down, so that's a lot of time in the car in the south of France. So yeah, that should be good. It'd be nice to get away as well. It's been an interesting year since me giving up work and Chris starting his new job. Sorry, I'm playing with my hair a lot, as usual. It's been an interesting year, just kind of getting used to the new normal of me and Amelia being at home, Amelia starting preschool, Chris working from home, but also being really busy, and it's so it'd be nice to kind of just get away and have some family time away from our phones. I am going to take a proper break from Instagram. Yeah, we'll see. I said that about Dublin, and I checked in every day, but I might actually delete the app. We'll see. We'll see. Right, let's move on to new things. I'm going to do this pretty quickly. So because now I can't remember if I showed you these things in my last podcast, but I don't think I did. So it was my birthday in May, so I ordered a few things. I also got a few things, but mostly it was presents from me to me. So I got myself a new Swift. This is an Amish style Swift called it's made by a company in Wales called Sunflower Swifts, and it is all wood apart from the metal spindle in the middle. Oh, this one doesn't want to, there we go. And it comes with 5 pegs, and you basically put it out and into a big circle, and it just moves freely as you're winding your yarn. The company has actually stopped making the Swifts, but there are a few that are and I got mine from the Yarn Cafe, and I think they have still got a few if you wanted to buy one. They're not cheap, but they are. It's very good. It's very good. And then to go with that, I wanted a better yarn winder, so I bought myself, totally inspired by Faye of the Crochet Circle podcast. Knit Pro yarn winder. I really like it. It takes up more room than my old one, but it produces much better cakes, and I will show you one of those right now. So this is another incoming, which is, isn't that a beautiful cake? That's gorgeous, isn't it? This is the yarn that came with my yarn book club for July. Yes, July. Based on the book Half of a Yellow Sun. I'm 3 hours into the book. It's a 16-hour book. So I'm hoping that when I'm doing the driving down to France, Chris will let me listen to it. But it's a really good book. I'm really enjoying it. Compared to the last of the book clubs, I didn't like the power. I didn't like it. I love the yarn that came with it, but I didn't like the book. So yes, this is called Cola Nut, and I love it. It's such a beautiful cake. Look at that cake. What else came in my package? I can't remember if this was all of it, but a lovely little. You saw the unboxing in one of my July vlogs. I can't remember which one. So lovely little tea bag, and cola cubes. Cola cubes. They are the best sweets ever. Let me get, sorry for the crinkling. They are. Pink cubes of deliciousness. I forgot about them, but they're one of my favourite sweets. Right. What else did I? Birthday to me. I got myself a new set of Chalgu Tunisian hooks. They've just released them. These are, I'll get the biggest one out. They're interchangeable bamboo hooks, and they also come with the red lace cables, so they're exactly the same ones as my Chalgu interchangeable knitting needles. So that's great, because it means I've got more cables. And more stoppers as well. It's only in one size, but it comes with, so Chalgu, depending on what set you've got, you either have the large cables or the small cables, but this has also got the adapter to switch between the two, so it works quite well. And then I got myself, and Faye from Knit It Hook It, who's also Crochet Circle Podcast and Faye DH Designs, she was selling seconds of her yarn bowls, and there is nothing wrong with this bowl. Do you want to see why it's a second? That. You can't even see it under my studio lights. There is a kind of divot there. It stits really well. I also got myself some of her lavender bags as well, because we have a moth problem. I found one today, which means it's attacking my cotton, because all of my wool-based stuff went in the freezer and is now in plastic bags. So if I open this, look, there's just plastic everywhere, because I don't want it getting my yarn. But it was in this drawer yesterday, and the only thing that's not covered is my cotton. Is my Shepier's stonewashed for my Sophie. I didn't think they ate cotton. I'm not so fussed about if my Sophie's Universe stash gets got, because it's not as expensive as my wool. My wool and my yarn, my natural yarn. So my sheep, my alpaca, that's all expensive. My yak, that's all like really expensive. Whereas Shepier's Stonewashed XL I can replace relatively well, but I might just pull that all out and put it in the freezer as well. We have a chest freezer. We didn't buy it for the purposes of me moth-proofing my yarn stash, but that's its first use, was literally my upper photo. My entire wool yarn stash went in this chest freezer for 5 days. 5 days out, 5 days in. It's all mini mothed. And it's stayed in its plastic bags, because so if by any chance there is any moth eggs or anything like that in there, it will only get like maximum 5 skeins, which is still £100 worth of yarn for the most part, but still. Yeah, it was quite funny getting it all out and going, oh, there's quite a lot of money in here. And then lastly, speaking of the freezer, I went to Fibre 2 weeks ago. No, a week and a half ago. Not even. My awesome husband I had planned to go on the Saturday of Fibre East with Amelia and just kind of hang out, and it's quite a nice festival for kind of moving around. Go with her and have her first experience of a yarn festival and la la la. And then my knee pinged, and I literally couldn't walk, let alone drive, and it's my right knee, which means it's my accelerator and braking knee, leg. And I had a bit of a whinge and a cry at Chris on the Saturday, and he just went, should we just all go and I'll drive to Bedford and you can go on the Sunday and Amelia and I will go, we'll go swimming while you're there. Yes, please. He's a keeper. So yeah, I went to Fibre East, which was really nice, on my own. Didn't take my vlogging camera, I just went and mooched, and it was lovely for like 3 hours. I met up with a few people, loads of the vendors that I count as friends now, which was really nice. Just chatting with them and seeing and catching up. And there was the what I like to call the Vale of the White Horse, which is the area that I live in, posse in the corner, because there were the guys from Pearlescence in one corner of the sports hall, and then Dragon Hill Studio opposite. And they're all local to me. They're both local to me, and they were opposite each other. So that was quite fun, just going in and chatting to them and having a bit of banter and stuff. So that was really fun. And I bought some yarn. All the yarn is in the freezer for its second dose of moth proofing, because no yarn shall pass the threshold of this craft room until it's been frozen. I don't care where it's come from. So yeah, I'll post a picture of the things that I bought. But yes, I bought skein from Cartreff Yarn, which is the new yarn line from Zoe from Pins and Needles and Jenny from Owl About Yarn. It's very much kind of Welsh farmed, milled, spun, dyed yarn. It's amazing. It's really good. I bought this gorgeous blue toned red. I have no idea what it's going to be, but it's going to be something beautiful. I bought a skein of yarn from Third Vault Yarns from Lola. That's going to be a Ripple bralette by Jessie May. It is in her, I think it's called Cosmic Turtle. And anyone who knows Terry Pratchett will know the reference, but that made me smile. So she picked that out for me, which was fab. I got a skein of yarn from Dragon Hill, well, a cake of stuff striping yarn from Dragon Hill Studios, which will be one of Chris's, it will be a pair of socks for Chris. They also, because I picked up the woolen self-striping that they did for the festival, I asked them if they had any contrasting yarn that I could do heels, toes and cuffs with, and they had some random minis, and Sharon basically picked out a green and went, I think this is it, but just have it on me and just in case it isn't right. So I got a free mini skein off them, which was so nice. And it's a match. It's from the same dye lot, which is awesome. Thank you, Sharon. I got a set of 10 gram mini skeins from Almas of Which Crafty Lady. She was there representing Wool Tops. Didn't realise she was going to be there, which was really cool. So that was really nice when I walked into that little room. She was in the same room as John Arbon, so very cool. I got 5 mini skeins, 20 gram mini skeins for my Gatto sweater from Verity of Truly Hooked, who didn't realise who I was, even though we've been talking loads on Instagram. So afterwards just went, oh my god, I should have given you a big hug. So that was fun. It does mean that I'm going to remember to take my Ravelry badge with me wherever I go for the next yarn festivals. Bernie from Bear in Sheep's Clothing was there, which was really cool. We had a lot of fun chats. She's fab. I met her at the first time at Woolen, and I bought this. So this is a little grey girl bag that is specifically made for Bear in Sheep's Clothing, and it's got little trees on it. I also have put my Gin and Bear It pin that she gave me at Woolen on there. So this is holding yarn for which will eventually be socks that will be made for my partner in the Craft Bank gift along. I'll talk more about the Craft Bank later. Actually, no, I'll talk about it now. It wasn't. I thought it was in my spotlight. It's not. So yes, that's my going to be my Craft Bank gift for my partner. I'm not going to show you because I think she might watch this podcast and I don't want the surprise to be ruined, but she knows she's getting socks. So The craft bank, just to reiterate, I am one of the mods on the craft bank, which was set up and is run by me and Lisa of Lisa Raspberry Crochet. It is set up to link up people who have yarn or patterns that they'd like to donate with people who might not necessarily be able to afford hand-dyed or indie patterns. So for example, I offer one indie pattern a month, up to £10. There's a few other people like that. There's designers who are offering their patterns, a number of patterns up to a certain amount. There are people who are destashing yarn. I've destashed some needles, some all sorts. But it's, you kind of agree the terms with the person who's asking. There's also, you can also just request. So if you are a person of low income who desperately wants a particular pattern, but really can't afford it, post on the craft bank in the patterns on offer thread and say, hi guys, don't suppose one of you would mind buying me this pattern, and there will be someone who will. So have a look on it. It's a great resource. But we are running a gift along, which is now closed unfortunately, but so 31 people, all who have been paired up, and all are making a gift to send to another person, and they will in turn be receiving a gift from one person as well. So it's really exciting, and I'm really pleased with how many people have signed up. It's been a great response actually for our first along. We're still small as a group, so please do go and join if you haven't already. Yeah, it's gonna be a long one. This is the 4th time I've started my camera. My camera cuts out after like 24 minutes. So that's how long this is. Bloody hell, there's going to be a lot of editing. Yeah, it's 10:20 now. Woohoo! Oh, the other thing I got, which you'll see right at the top of my little stash haul picture, is I got 2 little 5-gram minis of yarn from Ali, who is Little Drops of Wonderful. If you have been watching her July vlogs, and you should if you haven't, she's fab. Really, really natural, shows you her day-to-day life, and she does vlogs well. She did some dyeing before Fibre East, one that was solar dyed, which is really cool. I hadn't thought you could do that, so I might have to check that out. Yeah, so that was called Fahrenheit, and then the other one, I can't remember what the other one was called. But yeah, they're beautiful little skeins of yarn, so they're all in the freezer though. Okay. So, lastly, there's 2 things. Spotlight. I would try and have a spotlight in my podcast where I highlight something that is going on that I think is really good in terms of the inclusion and diversity debate that's going on. And this now, for me, the inclusion stuff not only includes the racism debate, but also things like fat phobia, about ableism, about the LGBTQ community. So it's basically, how can we as a community be more inclusive to marginalised communities? And the thing I wanted to spotlight is actually being run by 2 people who are pretty big on Instagram, and that is Jasmine from the Knitmore Girls. If you do not listen to the Knitmore Girls audio podcast, where have you been? Jasmine and Gigi, mother and daughter, they're awesome. I've learned a lot from them as well. So pretty much between the Knit Girls and the Knitmore Girls, I have learned a stupid amount in terms of knitting. And a bit of crochet as well, actually, between the 2. And spinning from the Knit Girls. Not that I plan on spinning. Never say never, but I've got a lot of yarn. Do I really need to add to that by adding fibre to my stash? Anyway, so Jasmine from the Knitmore Girls and, oh, I've forgotten her name. Lady Dye Yarns. That's awful. I'm going to find out and I'll put it there. They are working together to do an along. So, everyone knows Rhinebeck, right? Rhinebeck is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, yarn show in the world. And Rhinebeck takes place in October in New York State every year, and a lot of people can't make it because travel, expenses, all that kind of stuff. I am hoping to make it to Rhinebeck next year. I had thought that I might be able to make it this year, but I don't think I'm going to be able to make it work, which is a bit sad. But next year, definitely, I'm there. So, If anyone wants to come with me and share an Airbnb, I'll totally organise it. I just want some friends, thanks. So yeah, and a lot of people make Rhinebeck sweaters. So they make a sweater to wear at Rhinebeck. And what the Knitmore Girls and Lady Dye Yarns have done is they've decided to create a cowl/cowl, knitting or crochet along, called My Rhine BIPOC Sweater. I'll put it there. But it is, they are asking you now, I'm going to read off the actual Instagram post to make sure that what I'm saying is true. So you need to choose a piece, and it doesn't necessarily need to be a sweater. You need to choose a piece from the bundle that they've put up on Instagram. Now this is based off of Jeanette Sloan's BIPOC in Fibre list that's on her website, but it's been put together by someone else and I can't remember who it is. Black Squirrel Berkeley. You need to use or purchase yarn from a BIPOC dyer. Okay, and then use the Rhine BIPOC sweater hashtag to spread the love. They have asked that we stick to the colour theme of purple, green, blue, golden, yellow or black. I encourage all of those participating to use all of these colours for the sweater. We're asking BIPOC dyers to use these colours to create your inspired colourways for this cowl. Yeah, so I will put a link to the Lady Dye Instagram post in my show notes so that you can have a look at the full post. But my plan is to make the Ripple Bralette by Jessie May, who is a BIPOC designer, out of the yarn by Lola from Third World Yarns, who is a BIPOC, BAME, British dyer. So, and it's a one skein project, so it shouldn't take me too long. Yeah, so that's my plan, is that I'm going to be taking part in the Rhine BIPOC sweater along and making the Ripple Bralette out of Third World Yarns. Cosmic Turtle Third World Yarns. Very excited that I'll have like a Terry Pratchett Discworld themed top. My nerdiness will almost be complete with a Harry Potter cardigan in it. Such a nerd. All I need is something that's Star Trek. Is anyone else excited about Picard? TV series is coming on next year. Anyway, nerd alert. Right, life update. Yeah, life update. So, biggest update from us is we're not moving. So the last time I think I podcast, we were house hunting, the house was on the market or about to be on the market. Yeah, it was fun. It's not happening anymore. For reasons, lots of reasons. But the end result that I decided that actually I needed to seek a bit more professional help in terms of my mental health. The whole moving thing was a bit of a trigger for me, unfortunately. More fortunately, because I'm getting help. So I have I thank the lords, the gods above, for Bupa and my husband getting it as part of work. But I am halfway through 10 sessions of CBT or cognitive behavioural therapy, and it's really helping. So one of the things that I find very important is that you talk about your mental health. So I will be talking about my mental health, and she's helping me work through a lot of different things in terms of feeling good enough based on a number of different factors. So CBT is really working for me. So I wouldn't say I'm really enjoying it because there's a lot of stuff that we unpack in our sessions, but it's working. The other thing that's really working for me is I'm back at the gym. After my personal trainer left in April, I kind of let it slide a little bit, but I now have a new personal trainer who is fab, and he pushes me really hard, and I'm really enjoying the sessions that I have. So yeah, so I'm really feeling the difference with going to the gym. I'm feeling a lot stronger. He actually commented today that my core has improved, which is brilliant. I just need to lose the layer of flab that's over it. My knee obviously isn't helping matters. My knee I've got some serious issues with my right hand side. My knee basically doesn't have a chance because it's got my foot where I had a bit of nerve cut out of it 5 years ago. So that's made me wonky, and then my pelvis is tilted, so basically the knee is attacked from from both ends of the leg. So my knee is it's a bit mucked up, but we're working on strengthening all the muscles around it so that it's as supported as possible. And I had a physio appointment who's given me stretches 2 weeks ago, so that's really helped. What else? Amelia, my little girl, is on summer holidays from preschool, 8 weeks with no childcare. We're coping. Lots of days out, lots of time spent with our little friends. We have a play date with the school group at the end of August. We've seen our grandparents quite a lot. Well, we've seen one grandparent quite a lot. What else? I've written it all down. There's a lot of lounging about at home. She's just discovered She's just discovered Peppa Pig. I managed to get there. I managed to get to 3 years, 4 months without the pig. Which does mean, and someone quite helpfully pointed this out to me on Instagram, I can't remember who it was, Flick, that actually I'll have less time of it. Because if she'd have discovered it when she was 2, yeah. So, she'll grow out of it quicker. That's the theory anyway. Anyway, so that's my life update. We're trucking along really quite nicely. We're going away on holiday soon, which will be really nice. We've just booked a ski holiday for next year, which I'm really excited about. And we're starting to plan for our next big holiday, probably in 2020. We are hoping to go back to Disney World in Florida, hopefully for the Christmas in 2020. We'll need to, by that point Amelia will be in compulsory education, so technically not compulsory, but technically, yeah, she'll be in schooling where it is compulsory to be in school. The UK system is weird. But yeah, so we need to make sure we work around school holidays, so we'll be in that phase of life where holidays will become 3 times as expensive, because school holidays are 3 times as expensive. But we budget for it, so that's that. So yes, so yeah, holidays to look forward to, which is really nice. I can't wait for Amelia to be on snow next year. Yeah, that'll be so much fun. I mentioned that I'm going to be jet lagged at Yarndale, and the reason for that is I will have been in Bangkok for the week before Yarndale. I'm flying back on the Friday morning, and then I'm flying into Heathrow. I think about 7 AM is when my flight is due. I will get on the train back to hubby will come pick me up. I will have a sleep, because I probably won't have slept on the airplane. I'll have a sleep and then do some laundry, and then we'll get straight in the car and drive up to Yorkshire. Chris and Amelia are going to come with me because they obviously won't have seen me for a week, and we're going to stay in a hotel somewhere in the Dales, I think. I was going to be staying in an Airbnb with some of the crochet clan, but after a week of not seeing my family, I love my clan buddies, but I love my family more. So yeah, they get slightly more room in the Airbnb that we booked. So yeah, so that's, I'm going to be tired at Yarndale, but I'm still going to be there, and it's still going to be really nice to see my friends. Before that, I will be at the Southern Wool Show on the 31st of August and the 1st of September. I'm planning on being there both days, and then I'm also planning on going to Nottingham Yarn Expo in November? Yeah, November. Those are the 3 yarn shows that I'm going to. And I'm hoping, if I get to go to the Nottingham Yarn Expo, that Katie from GeordieKnits is going to be there, and that'll be the first time we've met in person. So that'll be fun too. But yeah, Southern Wool Show is my local, so I will be vlogging that one. Yeah, that'll be fun. So yes, I think that's me. This is going to be a long one, and the edit is going to be fun. But I don't care. I love coming on and talking to you guys. I should do it more often really, shouldn't I? So until the next time, please do go and have a look at the show notes. Please do like and subscribe. I never say that, but please do. I've had some extra subscribers this last couple of weeks because the lovely Ali talked about me on her Fibre East vlog. I was on her Fibre East vlog. Yeah, if in doubt, take cookies to yarn festivals. They're good cookies as well. If anyone wants the recipe for my cookies, like, do you know what? I'll put it on my Ravelry group. I'll put it as a post. I'll put the recipe. it's fab. It's not my recipe, it's my friend Jess's recipe, and I think she modified it from BBC Good Food's recipe. But it's a good cookie recipe. It's good. It's very good. Anyway, I'm going to tidy up. It's now 20 to 11 and I'm going to edit this tomorrow. So I will see you in the next one. Have a lovely time, whatever you're doing over the summer. I hope you're not too hot. And if you're watching from the southern hemisphere, I hope you're not too cold. I'll see you soon. Bye.